Hey, what's up guys, Mudar True Grid Development. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn some old decking that you might have laying around, something like this, into a badass barn door that looks like this. This is a very simple DIY weekend project. Check it out. Okay guys, all my projects begin with this, a blueprint of what it is that I'm trying to do. Number one, you want to measure the opening of where that door is going to go. Make sure to account for any trim or any baseboard molding or anything like that that's there. For example, I do have AZEK that is 1 inch thick that goes around the bottom of my post where this door is going to go. So my opening or my measurement is going to be less than 1 inch. I have 74.5 wide by 87 long opening. Each board is 5.5 inches. So I take that 74.5 divided by 5.5 and I get 13.5 boards. Each door is going to require 6 boards and 3/4, which really means 6 boards and 1 board that is ripped into 4 inches. And I decided that that's going to be my middle board. That way everything looks symmetric. So there's going to be 3 boards on each side and then 1 that is 4 inches wide in the middle. Then I'm going to use another board to trim out the sides and the bottoms. And I'm going to use 1 board to go down the middle. Then I'm using 4x1 treated board that I have laying around the shop to add more dimension to the door. Of course, you can continue on with the decking for this as well. And you're gonna need some of these hinges. These are heavy duty hinges because this door is going to be somewhat on the heavy side. I'm also not gonna rely entirely on the hinges. I am gonna use a locking pin that I'm going to use on the end of the door to support it as well. You will need some screws, exterior screws for the job. A driver and a drill. Quick tip, I'm using a countersink bit. This is extra, you don't really need to do that, but I'm doing it in case I sand the door at some point. I don't want to hit the screws. Have a couple of clamps handy. Pre-cut all pieces using your circular saw or your miter saw. And now you're ready to assemble. Line up your boards as close as possible. This is an outdoor project, so yes, if this was an indoor project, you could use biscuits to hold things together, glue, make it nice and tight. I'm only using this for under my deck just to hide some ugly stuff that this will look 1,000 times better anyways. So I'm not too concerned with little imperfections. For example, little gaps here. It's about 1/8 inch. Maybe some boards are just a bit off. I'm not too worried about it. Grab your top piece, line it up. This is where the clamp come in. I will clamp that final piece or the end piece together. Push all the boards against each other so it looks something like this. One and a half inch exterior screws. So this is embedded a little bit, so if I ever go to sand this down, I'm not gonna hit that tip. Finish all this up, we'll do the same thing on the other end. Next up, after you've done the bases here and up there, is your side trim. That's that piece that we ripped in half. All you do is measure it against the bottom here. And come up here and mark it up. We're gonna do that for the other side as well. Cut the piece, countersink, and drill. Next up is your middle piece, this guy right here. Simply measure here to there. Get the center to your door. For me, that's 38 right here, and I put a little mark there. I marked the center of this piece, and I did this on both sides. So then all I gotta do is just match the center of my piece Ready? Here we go. And same thing. Drill and screw. All right, now that the middle piece is in, we're gonna go ahead and cut the pieces that go diagonal, basically half of that X for the door. To do that, even though this is a 90-degree angle, you're not setting your miter at 45 to cut this angle, and I'll explain why. You actually need to set it at 37.5. Reason being is we are sitting the trim piece here on this side, and then we're going to sit it here on this side. So it's a smaller angle. This is 37.5. It's nice and snug here, and I'm terminating it on here, not on this side. And there you go. We'll do the same thing here, 37.5. Once this is down, we're gonna go ahead and screw it in. Okay, I got one of the doors out here. A couple of things I want to show you. I used a 1x at the bottom there, just so I can raise the door up a little bit. You want to do that to make sure the door is going to open and close with no problems, with enough clearance at the bottom. And I also used shims up top just to hold it nice and flat to where I need it. And then I went ahead and simply placed my hinge. I would have loved for mine to be in the center, but I did not account for that, and I have these two screws here. So again, adding a third screw in the middle maybe will compromise the integrity. So I went ahead and did it off center, which is going to kill me every time I look at this door. It is what it is. Put my hinge up, I marked with a pencil where my drill holes are gonna be. These particular hinges come with these screws. So I pre-drilled to size, just about to 3/4 of the way, and then drove this in. So I'll go ahead and do one hinge at the bottom, another one at the top. All right guys, for this bottom one here, honestly, I just kind of eyeballed it. Look, this is an exterior project. I'm not gonna, you know, figure out how many inches this is from here and match it with the one up there. It's pretty close, right? Line this thing up. I'm gonna bite the bullet with mine. I'm only gonna use one screw here. Again, the reason why this is happening to me is because I have this baseboard, and I really don't want to take it out. I like it. It's good protection for the post, and it's a nice look for us. So I'm gonna leave that there. I marked my holes, drilled, and now we're driving these screws in. Once you have the hinge in, then you just mark. All right guys, get your door. Wedge a 1x or whatever size clearance you want. I use that on this door, so gotta match it. All right, slight problem. So it looks like I am higher here than there, so I'm gonna take this bad boy out. Use something thinner. We still need clearance at the bottom, so this has to happen. If that doesn't work, then that means I cut too long, and at which point I'll take my circular saw and just take out maybe a 1/2 inch or something off the top. All right guys, I used a 1/2 inch piece down here, and I got it all leveled to where I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and mark for the 3 hinges and put them in. Now, to make sure the hinges are the same height, there's a couple of ways to do it. Starting from this point, you can do a level. I have a 4-foot level that I can take across. These are pretty even here, so I can measure from up here to down here. For the bottom one, it's just sitting on the baseboard, and the top one is center to that top piece. Here we go, I got all 3 hinges in. Next, I'm gonna work on painting the door, putting a couple of pulls on it, and also I'm gonna put a couple of pins down at the bottom to help support the door. It's perfectly fine now with the hinges, but for longevity I want to put those pins in so when the door is resting or it's in enclosed position, I could put the pin down, and that will help hold the weight here as well, so the hinges don't become weak over time and lean over. This is the color that I'm gonna go with. This is another project that I've done. If you haven't checked this out, I'll put the link up. I basically water treated the ceiling here under the deck and added tongue and groove ceiling panels here, and I used the chestnut color and I like that a lot, so I'm going to use the same thing here. And this was another project that I've done a long time ago. I don't have a video for this one, but I'm also going to match this to this and then that there, so we'll have more of a uniform look. And there you go, guys. I hope you liked the video. It's a quick, easy DIY project that you can tackle over the weekend, especially if you have some decking laying around and you weren't sure what to do with it. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give me a like, sub the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys on the next one.